baby. Get that out of here. Let's make sure we got everything all aligned, ladies and gentlemen. It looks like we do. Looks like the picture is good. Let's make sure we got the logo all right up here in front. Switch that to the side. Just making sure everything is aligned. See how the angle looks. Angle look good? We're live, baby. Oh yeah. There we go. Obviously got a delay, so I gotta check, see how it looks and stuff like that. Not bad. Not bad. The light's gonna piss me off. Ladies and gentlemen, holy shit, welcome back. Season 2 of North Sports. I am your host, Andrew Foubert. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm your host with the most sports knowledge north of the American border, Andrew Foubert, here to give you some raw, unedited, borderline sports content that's been wanted by the masses and ignored by the men with the passes. Come embrace a new way to enjoy some fucking sports, shall we, ladies and gentlemen? Follow me! That's right, follow me in a crazy journey of Canadian sports where I just don't give a fuck. That's right, let's just get it out of the way. I don't give a fuck. Sports is sports, ladies and gentlemen, and you're gonna learn pretty damn quick what the fuck that means. Oh, would you look at that? We got some cords, not plugged in. Oh, and my phone has fallen. Pen! My goodness! There we go. Ladies and gentlemen, follow me on Facebook at North Sports. Obviously, you're here if you're watching. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew_Foubert. Look for the North Sports logo, and that's where you'll find me. These shows will also be available in audio form on Spotify. What? Yeah, that's right. I figured it the fuck out. I learned some stuff on my days away. So you can now get all of Season 1, all 15 episodes, onto the audio form. They're up there on Spotify. All you got to do is search Foobz, Foobz, or Z, wherever you're from. And you look for the North Sports logo, and that's where you're going to get all of the audio content. If you can't watch it on Facebook, you know, sometimes you're at work and you want to put it down just to listen to the audio. People have given me some of that feedback, so I said, fuck it, I'm going to get you the audio. So look for Foobz, look for the logo, and you will find all of the available content that I got up there. This episode will be up there probably tonight or early tomorrow. Also, I will have some of my own personal, that's right, my own personal podcasts, audios, shows on there for you to listen to. That'll be more like comedy. I think what we've kind of come to the basis on it, when I mean we, I mean like the 12 different personalities, 13, 14, 15, 16, all the different personalities that live inside my head that want to just express themselves. We decided to make a podcast so we can go and tell the stories of what I did back in the day. That's right, I was a little shit, and some people know some of those home stories. We're not going to drop their names, but we're going to drop the names and likenesses of where all this stuff happened. So get ready for that. That'll be popping up in about the next month here or so. What else we got here? Check out, subscribe all these shows on YouTube. I know some of you guys got YouTube Premium. Some of you Americans got this whole YouTube channel or whatever the heck it's called. I don't have that. I pay the same amount just to get YouTube Premium that you guys pay to have like all these channels that I want. It's neither here or there. My show is available on YouTube for you to watch anytime you want as well. If you don't want to hop on Facebook and watch them, they're up there on YouTube. Rate, review, share them, like them, whatever you guys do. I am also on Bucs Report, as you saw last night, and as you see throughout the weeks, when I get called upon from the deep dwelling area of my sports cave, which is where you see me right now, they call me and they say, hey, I'm going to need a little bit of humor. I'm going to need a little bit of enthusiasm. I'm going to need you, Mr. Canada. I'm going to need you to come to Mr. Peter King's show and show what you can do. And I say, yes, sir. Please don't hit me anymore. I don't like getting hit, but Bucs Report doesn't hit me. They treat me really good. Same with everybody there. We got so much great content. All these shows, Monday to Friday. I have to write them all down. That is the one thing I forgot. I am a shit host. It's okay. But Monday to Friday, they got shows covered every single day. I know they got Cup of Ray coming up is the next one. So stay tuned for that. I contribute whenever I can, ladies and gentlemen. That's just what I do. I contribute wherever I am needed. So ladies and gentlemen, there's one more thing we need to get to before we can actually get to the real content of this show. Which, you know, I like to spew shit out. That's just what I do. We got, not a sponsor, because I told them that I would get bigger so that I could actually be a good sponsor for them. Okay? But we got a giveaway this year, ladies and gentlemen. Drum roll, please. Ow! Fuck! We got Heartbeat Hot Sauce Company, ladies and gentlemen. What? That's right. Heartbeat Hot Sauce, ladies and gentlemen, has teamed up with me for season 2 to help with the giveaway. So what is in here? It's hot sauce, obviously. But obviously some of you don't know what Heartbeat Hot Sauce is, so I'll show you exactly what it is. We've got your pineapple habanero, your jalapeno, your red habanero, and my personal favorite, the blueberry habanero. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, this will be the first part of the giveaway this season. If you want to win that and the next things that'll come later on down the road, I can't tell you what they are right now because I don't even know what the fuck they are. But if you want to win that and some of the next things that come out, ladies and gentlemen, all you got to do is tag Heartbeat Hot Sauce into the comment sections below, or you can share. All you gotta do is hit that share button. Let your friends see what kind of kookiness happens up here in the frozen tundra of Canada. Except it's actually pretty warm out. Not gonna lie. People got a really false, anticipation. That's a bad word. I've been trying to write. There's so many different names and words and idiocracies in it. Oh my god, I should just stop. Anyways, ladies and gentlemen, let's get right into this. This is North Sports. And I am Andrew Fulbert. And I bring you Stay there. I bring you content that you want to hear. So let's get right down to it, ladies and gentlemen. We've been away for a while. Took a little bit of a break so that we could let sports come back. Oh my god! The sports are back. We have hockey, we have basketball, we got baseball, we got football coming back up, we got soccer, we got them all. We got all the sports, okay? And we're in the playoffs and some of them. I'm just, it's been a while, okay? And it's really emotional to talk about playoffs and sports again. So it's weird because we're in the middle of a pandemic and all these people who added me on the off season were like, Andrew, you're gonna come back and you're gonna have no content to talk about. You're gonna talk about the what ifs and the what offs, and I'm like, first of all, that's what this show kind of is. I will give you real life perspective of what actually happens, and if it's an opinionated opinion from me, I will tell you when it's opinionated. But I actually will give you real life stats. There's a reason I got picked up by Bucs Report here, ladies and gentlemen. It's not just because I go into a conversation if somebody's wrong and I tear them the fuck apart and I let them know it. It's because I actually bring real statistical value and analytical statistics. It's kind of counterintuitive. But I bring analytics and I bring joy and I bring real perspective to what you need to hear. Okay? And we got, a lot of people didn't necessarily agree with getting the sports back into this. Get out of here. I understand that it doesn't look good that players and all this are getting millions and millions of dollars. Yeah, well, guess what? That is the life that they chose. Okay? It's the life that they chose. And to be honest, there's a lot of us in the world who pay to see them and pay to enjoy the entertainment that they give us. So therefore, we, as in me, who lives in Canada and has to pay almost $300 a month just to see hockey games and basketball games, and don't even get me started on what football costs up here. Oh my God. Anywho, it doesn't necessarily look good to the people who don't understand. To the people who know what these athletes have to go through, to some of these people who are athletes who are watching. That's right, ladies and gentlemen. North Sports gets real athletes watching this shit. To all those people, there's real life things that these athletes have to go through. They're living in a bubble. We just had a dude walk out today. This is a good transition to get into this. Tuukka Rask, ladies and gentlemen, has opted out of the bubble. Didn't they just win the other day? Yes, they did. But why? Why would he opt out? Now, there's a lot of people talking about what is it a bad thing? And this wasn't even part of, my talking points today, but I figured I'd bring this up. I actually brought this up first because I'm going to get into the NHL stuff, but I want to make this quick. Rask is a great goalie. He's top 3 in the league. If you don't agree with that, you're not watching hockey. You just hate the Bruins. Fuck, I hate the Bruins too. Most people in Canada hate the Bruins. Most Bruin fans hate the Bruins. But the Bruins are still a hell of a good team. And they're still going to probably go to the Stanley Cup Finals because they got a good goalie behind them. But Tuukka Rask was never really taken in by the fan base in Boston. Is Boston really... It takes hold of what they want in players. And Rask may not have necessarily been that. We don't know why he opted out. Maybe he didn't like the fact that there's no fans. Maybe he, has something with his wife, which I don't want to start insinuating stuff, but go on Twitter. It's all over there. But the thing is if you're talking about somebody who is leaving because of, say, health reasons or because he is scared, I meet you right down in the middle of this one. I can't hold him accountable for it. But I'm also not going to sit there in about half of a year when this man gets traded or when he is released from the Bruins and it doesn't look good and everyone's like, oh, it's because he opted out. You gave up on the team. That still doesn't look good. Whether it is for the reasonings that you are having, this, that, and everything else. You have started the playoffs. Your team, as you can see from my board, if you've already been watching, this team right here is going to go to the finals. And if you don't think that, honestly, you're not watching hockey. This is going to put a really big monkey wrench into that operation because now you got a guy that quit on them. And that doesn't look good and feel good around the locker room. That's inevitable. It'd be the same thing in football. In football, you got 53 players on a team. One, depending who it is, your quarterback quits is a whole different story. Basketball, this is where it would be the same type of thing. And a lot of people are tearing them apart, and a lot of people are saying you shouldn't. And again, I try to tell you sometimes whether to be on this side or this side, and you know me though, I like to be right in the middle. And this one, I'm right in the middle. I don't hold him accountable for leaving if it is to do with health reasons or for his own mental state, but I'm also not going to be one of those people to be like, hey, they're going to trade him, how dare you, and blah, 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 blah. No, you want to know why? Because my Red Wings are probably going to pick him up. Anywho, let's get on to the real stuff here, ladies and gentlemen. Jonas Korpisalo the other day, 85 fucking saves in a 5 overtime game. It's been the talking point of a lot of people here, and a lot of people are now trying to say, let's change the overtime. Brit, shut up. But maybe we should keep the guy. The only reason these games that you see, like with Boston and stuff like that, that had to move to the next day, is because we're playing in a bubble. We're playing in a fucking bubble. If it was a 5 overtime game, the other game would be still going on if we were not in the middle of a fucking pandemic. Inevitable. I am one of those people who have said that hockey has had to do something in order to get a TV package and more fans in the States and more fans around the world. One of those things is getting the Maple Leafs to win a Stanley Cup. But a lot of your fans forget that they're not gonna do it any fucking time soon. You wanna know why that would win them a Stanley Cup? Because then all the other hockey fans around the world who claim to be Leaf fans would rise up and be like, we did it, we did it. Same thing if Cowboy fans won a Super Bowl here in the next couple of years. They'd be like, we're the greatest, fuck the Pats. Get out of here. All right? You're not going to change the overtime rules. I wanted it to go to 6. I wanted Jonas Korpisalo to get 100 saves. Did you not? You not kidding? If he would have made that 100th save, like Evgeny Nabokov did back in the day against the Stars when he was with the Shark, and if you don't know what save I'm talking about, all you got to do is type in Evgeny Nabokov greatest save, and you'll see. He caught that fucking thing right at the goal line, right at the top. That thing was going in, open then. He caught that and sat down and he stared at the guy. If Jonas Korpisalo would have done that at the 100th save mark, okay, that's where I would probably be like, okay, now I don't even care what happens. You just, someone send the guy in, rush the goalie, make him limp a little bit, shoot it in. But you know what happened? It was basically a marathon. It was a marathon. And Columbus knew it was going to be a marathon. But Tampa Bay is a really great counter team, and I've said it 1,000 times. Toronto's a great team like that. Pittsburgh's been a great team like that. Tampa is a great team like that. They just have the all-star talent and elite perspective around the board that if the puck is, misplaced in the zone and stuff like that, all they got to do is have one person open and they can make something happen. There's a reason why Tampa Bay Lightning fans get pissed off when they keep passing. But at the same time, when the Lightning get these beautiful counters going their way, it usually ends up in their benefit just because they're already used to doing all those passes. Speaking of passes, fuck this thing. Just gonna tuck it in my belt. There we go. My gut. Anywho, 5 overtimes. You're not going to change the overtime. The only thing that I would agree with later on is if you said by the 3rd overtime, then you do a shootout. If I have to meet in the middle, and I still wouldn't agree with it, but if me being the person that preaches being in the middle, you still got to make it a full game after that, then you do shootout. Don't do 2, don't do 1 overtime and then do no. Make it 3 then, and then do the shootout if that's the way it's going to go. If that's what's going to get TV deals, okay. As a Canadian, I would just want to see more people love hockey. I would love to see more Americans get into hockey. I would love to just see more people get into hockey in general. I know it's not a cheap sport. I know it will never be a cheap sport, and it will keep getting more expensive the more and more that years go by. But as somebody who has a son who wants to put him into hockey, it is what it is. Next on the bracket here, ladies and gentlemen, what else did I have here? It was Jonas Korpisalo. Oh, yeah, Vasilevsky got the 61 saves. Great perspective. He tasted blood. I thought that was really cool. Doesn't let in anything after that. Once you make a Russian bleed, that's it. That's it. A Russian is done with you, okay? So, let's get into my playoff bracket, because I know a lot of you have been wanting to talk about this, okay? This is the last playoff bracket, now that we kind of know what's going on, except, apparently, when you get past the first round, all these teams get reseeded. So I may have screwed it up. But if they still get reseeded, you're still going to have, in my opinion, the same 2 teams come out. That's just, in my opinion, inevitable. So let's really start breaking this down, ladies and gentlemen, before we get into Let's Be a GM. Make sure I got my notes in order here. There we go. All right, let's start off with the Golden Knights versus Chicago. I have had this written down for a long time. Okay, as you can see by some of these numbers, I'm not trying to force my wins or anything. I'm just doing what I think is right. And what I think is right is this. Golden Knights are going to beat Chicago 4-1. That's almost inevitable. Golden Knights are a sick team. Like 4 different types of styled lines across the board. Same with on the defense. It's really nice to watch. I'm not just saying this because my fiance is a Golden Knights fan, and every time I cheer the Golden Knights, I feel happy, if you know what I mean. Anyway, so we go next here. Colorado versus Arizona. I love Arizona. I'm hoping that the Coyotes will eventually do really, really good. I don't think this year is the year to do it. You got your first round qualifying match out of the way. Now you're going to meet real talent. This is where it shows the holes in your squad. Colorado's going to take it 4-2. Go Tyson, go. Dallas versus Calgary. This one is going to go down to the wire, game 7. Both teams are just built all the way down pretty well. It does come down to the goalies, but as we've seen with Ben Bishop, you can get under his skin a little bit. Ben Bishop is a top 3 to top 5 goalie in this league. You should like a Carey Price. but Dallas just needs a little bit more help in some places, and I just don't understand where it necessarily all is, but they do need a little bit more help. And I think that Calgary is built for a good run right now. I think they could probably get it out of the way. Vancouver versus St. Louis. I'm getting a lot of hate for this one already. People being like, St. Louis is the Stanley Cup winning team. Did you have St. Louis winning it last year? No, you didn't. When they were at the bottom of the league with 25 games into the season, or second last from the bottom and stuff like that, did anybody have them making the incredible run except for diehard Blue fans? No, you didn't. Shut the fuck up. Okay? The Blues finally did what the Blues are supposed to do. But they're also skating on thin ice because Pietrangelo is going to be leaving. They're not going to re-sign him. Once they lose in the playoffs, that's where your whole different perspective comes in. This is kind of what Blues ownership, in a weird way, is kind of hoping for. You win the Stanley Cup, you're probably going to have to sign him to a big contract. If you lose in the playoffs, you can let him go, and you can start, say, rebuilding from within, start getting some of that younger talent in there. It would be a win-win situation for St. Louis. I think Vancouver takes it in 7. I also think Vancouver is the next type of St. Louis team coming up. First round in the East, Montreal versus Philly. I actually got Montreal winning this because Philly is a built team ready to go. They're just like Pittsburgh, in my opinion, except without like a Crosby and a Malkin. And you got the Carey Price type of goalie in Carter Hart. You're built and you're ready to go. Just got a couple of injuries. And you need to lose. Philly does the best when they lose, and it's been proven time and time again. Philly lost a couple of years ago, which is now a few years ago, and they came back and they went all the way to the finals against Chicago, and they were almost the only team ever to come back from a 3-0 deficit in the Stanley Cup Finals. And then somebody else went and did it. You know who it is? Boston. Anywho, I think Montreal's gonna got it. I think the rhythm that they're on right now is just too good to stop. I think that's where they're gonna go. Now here's where I got a lot of hate last night, obviously. Let me take a drink for this one and try to explain myself. Tampa versus Columbus. Lightning fans. Stamkos is out again. Stamkos is a great talent. And I talked about this with one of my co-hosts, or one of my co-workers, I'll say, not co-host. I am his co-host, if anything, and I am one of his mentors. However you say it. Peter, I said to. Stamkos, you kind of need to trade if you lose in these playoffs, which I got them losing in Game 7. You got McDonough, who's taken up a lot of contract. And you got Stamkos, who's taken up a lot of contract. And you got a lot of good players in that system ready to come up. Why not take the chance? Start selling them. There's a lot of teams that would take on Stamkos. Hell, if you told Minnesota that they can get an all-star, they would probably take it. If you wanted to go, way more out of conference and stuff like that, I'm trying to remember, I think it was LA that I brought up. You could probably send a package deal over there for some picks for the second overall pick if you really wanted to as well. There's just so many different things that you can do. And with this COVID going on and not knowing what's going to happen, especially because a lot of leagues won't allow certain hockey to happen, it puts dampers on certain players' new draft rankings. So I think a lot of these teams will go for more talent that they've actually seen on the ice and they know what they're actually getting. So look for Stamkos and McDonough to get traded, especially little fucking fly, especially if they lose to Columbus, which I think is going to happen. Washington versus the Islanders. I'm obviously wrong on this one already. I think that Barry Trotz's new team would be too much for him, and I think Ovechkin's going to go on. That's just kind of the given there. Into Game 7. Boston beats Carolina 4-1. Like I said, they're just a built team, ladies and gentlemen. They're built through and through. They got old people, yes, but they've won cups. That's the reason Chicago beat Edmonton, and I told you guys it was going to happen, and nobody fucking believed me. No one believed me. I said, hey, if anybody's going to have a good chance of being the dark horse, it's going to be the Rangers or Chicago. I was obviously wrong on the Rangers. Congratulations, getting laughing. Yay, fuckers. But I was not wrong about the Oilers. And I told you guys, Taves, Kane, and Crawford have all won cups. When has McDavid won? He hasn't yet. That's why you couldn't just let them be who they were, and they ran over the Oilers. Don't have me. Second round, as you see, I would have Vegas playing Colorado. This would probably be like the Stanley Cup matchup if you could have in-conference teams meeting in the last two. Colorado is stacked. I think the one thing that they lack is consistency at goaltending, because they got McKinnon, who has just been getting better and better. You got all these other players on that team. I just think that because Vegas has built their team so perfectly, spending the money that's needed to, getting a little bit of help of being a new team, I totally understand that. But this is still the Golden Knights, man. I think the Golden Knights were taking it in Game 7. Colorado could easily take this and go all the way to the finals and win the whole damn thing, but man, I think that it's Golden Knights for sure. Calgary would face Vancouver. As much as I personally would like Vancouver to win, I hold no bias in any of these picks that I ever make. I think that Calgary would just beat up on the Canucks a little bit too much, win it in 6 games, and go on to the next round. On the other side, I got Columbus playing Montreal, obviously. That would be a 4-2 matchup. Columbus would just be so good in depth that it would be way too much for Carey Price to handle at this point without proper depth on Montreal. You know what I mean? And if, for some odd reason Jonas Korpisalo doesn't do good, they got another goalie that they can put in. What happens if Montreal loses Carey Price, or if he starts not doing good? Kind of screwed. So the other side of it, I would have Washington playing Boston. Washington is a good team. Ovi's just getting old. They won their cup. It's almost like they're not playing for something anymore until Holtby's kind of gone and they start letting some of those other players go. Samsonov has got to come in and be a starter. So I don't think that they would necessarily take it. But as I said before, especially with this whole Rask thing, I still stay to my standings. But obviously it's going to be a little bit more difficult for Boston going forward. So instead of 6 games, it would probably be 7. Stay in the East when we get to the Final Four. Boston playing Columbus. This would be one hell of a matchup if Boston got to play Columbus at this point. This is both like the goon squads that everybody wants to see. So fuck yeah. Fuck yeah. I still got Boston in 7. Vegas versus Calgary. Calgary would actually match up pretty well with Vegas at this point. Line depth, but I think that fourth line would just be... That third, fourth line matchup would be the one that would be the fucking kicker, guys. I don't necessarily see it coming down the way that, us in Canada would like to see the cup coming back. I mean, I would rather Vegas win it anyway. Fuck the Flames. That's always how I felt. Golden Knights would play Boston. It would be a 4-2 matchup. I think Golden Knights would just be too much power of a steamroll to meet them at the end. It'd be done. I think the Golden Knights kind of got it here for the COVID 2020 Stanley Cup playoffs. That is my guess. I am sticking to it. This whole matchup that you see right here, we'll have a picture taken, obviously. It'll be put on the page so you guys can hold me accountable for all the picks that I either get wrong or right. But just know that I give you real insight on why it should happen the way it is. So tell me your thoughts in the comment sections, ladies and gentlemen. Thank you for that. We'll go on to the next thing, obviously, which is just a quick little mock draft. So you just go from here to here. Obviously, we saw the fuckery that the NHL committed to my Red Wings and to almost every other team that was behind it, like Ottawa and LA. And they decided to help James Dolan go from like the worst owner ever to, oh my god, he saved the Rangers. Oh my god, I never thought I'd want to hear the day that that kind of shit was ever talked about. But here we are. The New York Rangers have won the first overall pick in the NHL draft upcoming. So obviously, let's get into what I think is going to happen in this draft, ladies and gentlemen. Obviously, the Rangers select Alex Lafreniere with the number 1 overall pick. That's just inevitable. And now they're going to have arguably a better 2-line. And this is arguable, and a lot of people are going to at me at this, but if you go look at the stats and the capabilities of what Keiko can do and Lafreniere, that 2 lines on the Rangers may just be better than the first 2 lines on the Maple Leafs. There, I said it. Oh, Andrew, you just hate the Maple Leafs. Oh, Andrew, you're biased because of your hate for the man. Shut the fuck, I don't give a shit. There's just too much talent. At least this too much talent on the Rangers is nice and blended across the board. Okay? Zibanejad and Keiko and all those young guys coming up. Now you add Alexei Lafreniere into there. It's going to be a sick team, especially when Lundqvist is gone and they got that Shesterkin guy coming up too. Oh my God. Rangers, welcome back. So, then we fall down to the rest of them. I've actually looked up a few of these other players and I've changed a few picks here across the board. So let's get right into it. LA Kings take Quentin Byfield, the center. That's just going to be the guy that they kind of build around. All the rest of those players from the old golden days of the Stanley Cup days are gone. That's just inevitable. Tim Stützle. This is where people would be like, well, what about Jamie Drysdale? What about this player? Maybe they take a defenseman to hold it against the Red Wings. I do not think that they are going to honestly take a defenseman, Detroit. They could very easily take Jamie Drysdale. They could also say that they're going to take Jamie Drysdale or Sanderson or even Askarov to make other teams want to trade up or make Ottawa be like, oh my God, I need to do something. Yeah, I don't think it's going to work. I think they're going to stick to one of the top 3 players. Take Tim Stützle at number 3 and then see what they can do at number 4. But I got Detroit taking my Alexander Holtz. Why? If you got Zadina on the left side and you got Mantha, who's going to be on the right side, and you got Larkin in the middle. There's one line. Rasmussen down the middle on the other one, or eventually Veleno. Okay? And you got Bertuzzi on the other side. Wouldn't it be nice to have a Phil Kessel type of trigger man right on that right side in Alexander Holtz? I actually would have no problem with the Red Wings coming up, making that pick. I also got no problem with them taking the goalie, Askarov, at number 4. And I've said that before. You're going to be 3 to 4 years away from even a competitive team because of some of these contracts and some of the team or some of the players that you want to bring into the system. You might as well get a goalie ready for when you're having it. But I don't think they're going to go that route anymore. If there's still me hoping it might happen. I don't think it will. Ottawa then takes the kid from Ottawa, Marco Rossi, the center. Now you got yourself basically a beautiful line there that Ottawa is just kind of waiting for. They're still in major rebuild mode, but this starts helping a lot. Anaheim at number 6 is going to take Lucas Raymond. That's one of the top 4 players that falls. Mine as well. They're loaded in goalies and defensemen. I don't think they take the chance on Jamie Drysdale. New Jersey is not going to let Cole Perfetti fall any further if he's sitting there. Why the fuck not? That kid mixed with Nico Hirscher and the other guy whose name I cannot remember. That would just be a perfect blend across the board, ladies and gentlemen. I mean, really? Really? Now you're just making the Devils. They got Smallwood in net and all those defensive. I think it's Zaitsev. Man, Devils could be back pretty darn quick. You watch out for them. Buffalo would then take Jamie Drysdale. And then they would just be loaded on defense. I mean, if Eichel is staying and you got Skinner, you got Ristolainen, you got Dolly. Oh my God, there's just so much talent that can score, whether you're offense or defense. Might as well put Jamie Drysdale in there, load up on the defense, hope that the Pekka Otti-Latinen or whatever his name is, that goalie coming up here pretty soon, can blend in with that defenseman. And then you guys could be like the Nashville Predators of a few years ago, where you got like one superstar guy like Eichel to score all your goals, and you just load up on defensemen and goalies and hope that it works out that way. And it could. I think we all can agree that we just want to see the Sabres do something with all this talent instead of having to trade it off in a year. Number 9, where Minnesota has got their own pick. That was weird. Maybe it's just really windy out. Anywho, Minnesota, number 9, Yaroslav Askarov. They take that goalie. Dubnyk is getting old. Stalock is a backup who is doing good for them right now. They need to address something soon. They need to do something soon, and I know for a fact, because I've seen a couple of scouts talking about it in Minnesota, that if Askarov is there, they're going to pull the trigger. So my lock is more than likely Minnesota taking Askarov in this whole thing, but Askarov going in the top 10 is definitely a lock for me, for sure. You can quote me on that. I'll put that on the page later on as well. Winnipeg at number 10 takes Jake Sanderson, takes the next best defenseman that you could possibly get. When I talk about all the talent on the board, there is really only 11 players that their talent can go from number 4 to all the way to number 11, okay? And if you're the Jets, All of a sudden, you got a center and defenseman to pick from. They need a little bit more depth on the defense. I think that they get Sanderson, they get some depth, and they get a little bit more happy, and they can make better runs down the field. Nashville then gets that center that they want in Antoine Lundell. Just, you know, you screwed up when you signed Duchesne, guys. Like, what? When Duchesne became a free agent, nobody signed him, and just Columbus traded for him because they had a run. That's what good teams do. You don't re-sign the guy to a six-year contract. That's so dumb. Florida would then take Dylan Holloway, the other center. This is where that tier starts dropping off. This Dylan Holloway character, though, he actually would blend pretty well in Florida. Carolina then takes the other next Quinn. Jack Quinn, the right-handed. Edmonton Oilers, I'll be talking about you in a second. Your Caden Gould defense is what you get there. And then Pittsburgh takes that Seth Jarvis kid, which would probably be a really good pick there for Pittsburgh at number 15. Yes, they're going to keep that pick. Don't think they're going to give it to Minnesota. If they give it to Minnesota, they're definitely going for the goalie at number 9. I can lock that one in for sure. So that is my mock draft 2.0. I am sticking to this one. Obviously, if somebody makes a trade, I will go up and update it, because people don't trade up unless they're going for a player that they want and they knew somebody was going to take anyway. So tell me what you think about that in the comment section, ladies and gentlemen, or later on. You think this is going to happen? Send me yours. Tell me who you think is going to get drafted in what order. Do you think that the Rangers are going to take Lafreniere? That's a dumb question. Of course they are. But do you think that Quentin Byfield is going number 2 to the Kings? Or do you think they'll take the chance on Stützle, the next best German prospect since Draisaitl? What do you think? Let me know. I want to hear from you guys. You're my fans. You're the reason why I keep this shit going. All right, ladies and gentlemen. I came up with this brand new segment. It's called Let's Be a GM. And I took a little bit of time to see what I could do to help certain teams. A lot of people say, you know, you have a lot of perspective that you can bring and stuff like that, and I'm never going to be a GM. So why don't you put some ideas out there for people to kind of enjoy? So today, we got Let's Be a GM, eh? Edmonton Oilers edition. And before we get into that, I'm going to check the comment section out here and thank everybody for coming out. Got a few, it looks like, here. What's up, Andrew Faubert, for Christopher Cole? Thank you for tuning in, Christopher Cole. Boo Karask, yes. In Halak we trust, yes. Lightning, of course. Like I said, I don't hate the Lightning. When the Red Wings play the Lightning, that's a whole different story. But Andrew doesn't even have the Lightning getting out of the first round. You're damn right I don't. And we went through that. Had shades of Tim Hortons in that game, plays head. Man, I should bring you guys some of that coffee when I come down for sure. So, let's do this. Let's be a GM for a second here. Let's be the Oilers. I went through, I broke down, I stayed up till like 3:30 in the morning because I was actually having a little bit of fun with this. And when you're a GM, you got to hold no... I did it again! Drop the pen. When you are a GM, you have to hold no real, how do you say it? You got to hold no, like, friendships. If you're going to trade somebody, you're going to trade somebody, okay? In this case, the two major untouchables are obviously your Connor McDavid and your Leon Draisaitl. That's inevitable. But I have an idea. They do not have cap space. They have $700,000 in cap space. They got some players that they owe money to, just like every team does. But there's a way to get through this to make 2 acquisitions. And these 2 acquisitions will get the Edmonton Oilers not only back to the playoffs, but into the top 4 of contention for the Stanley Cup. And when I mean in the contention, I mean they will be in the top 4. But you just have to make these trades and these signings. And how do you make that signing with no money? Well, we have an offseason coming up. And as you can see right here, grab a defenseman. That helps with your depth in the next couple of years. Makes sense if you're the Oilers. Now, you got Mike Green, who just retired. That's $2.687 million off of the books next year. You've got, not Matt Benning, but the other Benning, 1.175 would be gone. Okay. Mike Smith, don't think they're going to resign him. There's another $2 million. And the actual Matt Benning, get him the hell out of here. That clears up some $6.7 million cap space. Now, why is that important? Well, I'm going to tell you why. you got some other trades that you can do. Got some players that people obviously want. Now, you don't want to get rid of Yamamoto. You don't want to get rid of your young squads. It's not what you want to do. But a good idea is to take that second line and break it up as much as it's going to suck. Because you have holes in other places. You need a goalie. You need some depth at defense. Hell, you might even need more of a third stringer that can come up and play second stringer, like you do with Cassian sometimes. So what am I getting at? This is called Let's Be a GM for a reason. You hold no friendships in this. Took too quick of a sip. So, I think it's Nuge. I think you put trade bait, trade block onto the Nuge. And a lot of people are going to turn this off already. But this is the reason. I'm not trying to just destroy the Oilers here. I'm saying if you're trading Nuge, you're saving yourself from having to sign him to $8.5 to $9 million after next year. And also getting nothing for him if you don't sign him. So then you can go to some teams. You can offer them some big packages. And that big package is Nugent Hopkins. And you can get a big package in return. And the three things that I have found out there that make the most sense are as follows. You go to the Rangers. Ooh. But Andrew, they just got Lafreniere. And you just talked about how amazing that second line already is. Yes. But you can make that second line even better. You can take one of those guys and bring them down to the third line. You can make your third line even better. All you got to do is bring right winger Pavel Buchnevich and center Brett Howden, which is a fourth liner. Okay? Over to the Oilers. And you send them a second rounder or a third rounder. But I would say second rounder and Nuge. Only because it's like a rental possibly for the Rangers. So now all of a sudden you get your second line with Buchnevich and Howden who can come up and play your third. So you replace Nuge with a cheaper guy who's obviously not going to produce as much, but he's a right winger. And you put Howden up on your third line, and then you get a little bit more depth. Does that make sense? Doesn't feel good when you got to give up picks, but when it's a rental player such as Nuge, you have to make it more incentivized. And every single one of these is going to include a second or a third rounder. Then you can go to Columbus. What? What would Columbus want? They want Nuge, obviously. They got Pierre-Luc Dubois. You got Pierre-Luc Dubois and then Nuge, say on your second line to add in Foligno and the rest of the guys. Oh my goodness gracious. Then all of a sudden we're talking about the Blue Jackets possibly being one of the greatest teams next year. But they're going to have to give up a little bit. Elvis Merzakis. Oh, why would they do that? You got Jonas Korpisalo. Jonas Korpisalo is their starting goalie. And they have other goalies in the system who are going to be just as good as Elvis Merzakis. But Elvis hasn't proven that he's a consistent starter yet. The key word in that sentence is yet. Let me tell you the rest of the package here. Marcus Nucevera. He's a defenseman. So now all of a sudden you're adding defenseman depth. But you got Elvis Merzakis and Koskinen. So now you can get the same type of play out of your goalies with Elvis there and Koskinen. You can split the season. And then if Elvis starts playing a little bit more better, you can give him more games. And then if Koskinen starts playing better, then you can play him. You can sign Elvis to a 4-year $4 million contract, $5 million contract. He could be your starter. You can run that for 3 or 4 years with Edmonton, especially if you got McDavid and Draisaitl. You got to give up Nuge. All of a sudden, Columbus would be sitting there making runs, and all of a sudden they get into cap hell if they sign Nuge, and they start looking like the Predators if he doesn't produce. What do you think of that one? Now, third one. This is the one that I think actually makes the most sense. Because you don't want a goalie necessarily that comes in and is just, meh. Especially when you're the Oilers and you're trying to make a good run. So if the Oilers go to Pittsburgh and say you got a goalie situation, we'll take on Matt Murray's contract and we'll probably re-sign him later on. My boy, who I went to high school with, Matt Murray. You also are going to give us Zach Aston Reese. He is also a defenseman, I believe. Yes, he's a defenseman. Edmonton also sends a second-round pick. Why would that make sense? Because now you're going to put Nuge and Crosby and Zucker and Malkin all on the same line for a power play. That's pretty fucking destructive, if you ask me. That right there is something that Pittsburgh would be like, listen, you're going to take one of our issues away, and we're just going to have to give you one of our depth players. I think that Pittsburgh would love something like that. Especially here at Edmonton, when you're getting a 26-year-old goalie, young, proven, won some cups as a starter and as a backup, as Marc-Andre Fleury has done. Now you're bringing him to Edmonton. You got Koskinen behind. Koskinen does a pretty good, job as a backup, and Matt Murray shows that he could be the starter again. Then all of a sudden you got trade bait in Koskinen. Who knows? So what do you think of those three? Makes sense. The other notables that we got here, James Neal, 5.75 cap hit. They're looking to trade him? Probably not. It's the depth. Anthony Mantha's an RFA. They gave a pretty good package to Detroit for him. I think they're going to re-sign him, especially when you got Ken Holland as your GM. Adam Larson, 4.16. It's getting off the books here in a couple of years. But if you can trade him, why not? Koskinen is also worth 4.5. So that's what I mean. If Koskinen plays good behind a goalie or with a goalie, and your starter, or the guy that you pick up, starts looking good, whether it's Matt Murray or Elvis Merzlikins, who knows? Who knows? You can have trade bait in Koskinen. Probably Detroit would pick him up. LA, Ottawa at this point. Who knows? There's a lot of teams out there. San Jose would probably make a mistake again. It's the way it is, ladies and gentlemen. The NHL does some weird stuff. But when you're a GM, you got to hold no personal feelings for a player. You got to do what's right for your team, depending on, of course, who the player is. So what do you think? You think that's going to save the Oilers? Let me know what you think in the comment section below, ladies and gentlemen. I need water because I smoke a lot of cannabis and I talk a lot. And that doesn't blend well when you do a sports show. It probably would if I didn't have these things in, because I usually just want to throw my head back and be way more, but then it would knock everything down, it would cause a big mess, and then the show would just look like absolute shit. I think I need wireless earbuds. Pretty sure every podcast I listen to talks about these Raycons by Ray J, who made a really good porn back in the day, making Kanye's wife be like, "Oh, daddy, oh my god." Fucking Kim Kardashian. Anywho, let's get into some NBA talk, okay? NBA playoff bubble has been going on. It has been one hell of a ride there, ladies and gentlemen. LeBron James is still showing that he is one of the greatest of all time. Tanamakuno headbutted somebody. People are trying to get DoorDash. People are trying to get strippers. The wings in Atlantic City are apparently so damn good that you just want to dip them on pussy. It just doesn't make any sense in a pandemic why you would want to dip chicken wings in a pussy. It makes no sense, Lou. What the fuck are you doing? But, alas, the bubble's been doing really great. We got the playoff brackets pretty much set. We got Portland and Memphis are going to be playing this weird play-in match for that 8th spot, where my boy, who I think is going to be the next Kobe Bryant, yes, I've said it, and I will hold that. May he rest in peace. Kobe Bryant. We miss you every day. Kobe, the Mamba mentality. Ja Morant is one of those players in the NBA that actually shows that Mamba mentality. I think that if anybody's going to give Portland's Damian Lillard a chance or a run for their money right now, it's probably going to be Memphis. You're telling Memphis to win 2 games. The only reason why Damian Lillard won those games is because he had something to fight for. And now he's in there and he's got to win 1 game, but Ja's got to win 2. I'm going to go with Ja. I'm obviously in the lower tier of that right now, but I'm going to go with my boy Ja. It's just the way it is. I got the playoff bracket, though. It's pretty simple here, ladies and gentlemen. No fans, all coaching, players hear players. You can hear the plays, you can hear certain things. It's going to be weird. but it also benefits who? As you can tell by this, it benefits the higher seeded teams. The higher seeded teams are there because their systems they implement into every single game and they can run them every time. Now, a couple of years ago, there was, when Dwayne Casey was running DeMar DeRozan, they would take him out at a certain point of the game almost every single time, and they would run that all the way through the regular season and then into the playoffs, which is the reason why they never really got over the hump. But then they started doing things differently, but keeping to the same type of mentality, okay? And a lot of these teams still do that. And so, obviously, you're going to have a lot of these teams, higher seed, winning these games and these series. It just makes more sense. So let's get through it. Let's do it quick. Because I know you obviously want to get to the NFL stuff. But we got to talk about NBA. We love NBA. And fuck the Houston Astros. Fuck the MLB. You want to see some good baseball? Go watch what's happening to the Astros, ladies and gentlemen. All right. NBA COVID Cup playoff bracket predictions. Milwaukee plays Orlando in the first round. That's kind of a given, even though they're in Orlando. If there was fans there, it'd be a whole different story. But it ain't going to work that way. Milwaukee takes the first series 4-1. Miami plays Indianapolis. I was going to say the Colts. Pacers! I would say an easy one if it weren't for the fact that Oladipo's not playing. If Oladipo was playing, this is going to Game 7 and probably last shot of the game. I'm still giving it to Jimmy Butler. And the Heat are going on. Celtics versus Philly. Philly's just banged up, ladies and gentlemen. Philly is banged up. And it's not looking good for them. So I got to give it to Boston because Boston is just a really good fucking team. Toronto versus Brooklyn. Does anybody honestly think that Toronto is going to lose to Brooklyn? The last time they played in the playoffs, it went to Game 7, and Kyle Lowry got his hand smacked, and the Brooklyn Nets went on. I still remember that game. So many years ago. Still don't care. They're going to run show on them. 4-0 is what I want. They're probably going to steal the game off the Raptors. It's inevitable. Let's keep it to the East. Milwaukee then plays the Heat. That's probably going to be the game of the year. Kind of around the same area I said right here. Milwaukee versus the Heat. Jimmy Butler is just one of those guys you do not fuck with. But Giannis Antetokounmpo is a guy that you do not want to play against. They take it in Game 7. Raptors versus Boston. This goes down to the wire as well. I think it goes all the way down to depth. If it even came down to injury, Toronto's got a G League team that can go up against anybody. The Raptors take it in Game 7 as well. Then you got Milwaukee playing Toronto. I'm sorry, Milwaukee. And I'm sorry to a lot of Americans. You're like, you Canadians. And your perspective on, you don't show attention to any, you Canadian. Oh, shush. I listened to you guys last year. And the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that, and the year before that. The Raptors will never, ever go to the championship. Oh, boo-hoo. Guess what we did? We stole your championship. It's up here. I'm still drinking out of it. Andrew, it's impossible. There's no way to drink out of it. Yeah? Well, if you got to play with the damn thing, you would find really cool ways to drink out of it. But you don't, and you're going to have to wait another year. More than likely. Toronto goes on after Game 7. There's just depth, ladies and gentlemen. Pascal Siakam is just going to take it to the hole. Take it to the hole. Take it to the hole. Take it to the woo! Take it to the hole. Take it to the hole. Sorry, I had to get in there. All right, Raptors go to the final. So let's go all the way to the West and see who's going to play them. Lakers, right? Well, let's show you that. Lakers are obviously going to play Portland in the first round. Portland is going to probably do pretty good. I got Portland in there because, what I want is Memphis, but what is obviously probably going to happen is Portland will win that game. So, Portland gets in, or Portland does not get in, sorry. Lakers beat them in 6. Go down, my Thunder. We'll play the Heat, and everyone's like, now you're being biased. Now you're being biased, Andrew. Your Thunder are not going to beat the Heat. On the contrary, I would more than likely agree with you if Westbrook was healthy. But he's not. So it's going to be Harden and who? Versus Shai Gilgeous-Alexander and CP3 and Steve Adams and Dennis Schroeder. I don't think so. Goes to Game 7, though, because Harden's still a beast. OKC takes it. Denver versus Utah. This one, a lot of people would also give me slack for. Be like, Utah is a good team. Fuck Rudy Gobert. Devin Mitchell needs out of there. I got his rookie card. I think it's worth a lot of money. I should be hoping that the Jazz win. But that's just not what I do. It's going to be Denver. And then you got the Clippers versus Dallas. This one's actually probably going to 7. Dallas is too low of a seed. Yeah. Luka is good, man. Luka's probably going to be arguably one of the greatest basketball players to play for the next 15 years. You can at me all you want. He's got Porzingis and he's got good company, and they know how to build from within. Mark Cuban will pull the trigger on a trade if he needs to. They go to Game 7, and the Clippers are just a better team. So then we got Lakers play OKC. This is where my bias, I guess, it's gone because the Lakers could run show against it. I mean, CP3 could, go off, and I still think they're only going to win one game. Lakers take it in 5. And then you got Denver versus the Clippers going to 7. Andrew, what are you smoking? Actually, probably, I think it's called Amnesia. Or Sour Tangy. It's really fucking good, though. Should try it. Clippers play Denver. Why would it go to 7? Denver is one of those teams that are sneaky good, and they got 3 players technically, out of position that are way better than most teams even have at their one position, and that's center. Oh, what are centers going to do? Against the Clippers? Against Kawhi? Against a squad like that? Pretty damn good damage. That's just kind of inevitable, ladies and gentlemen. You got to give them where it is, okay? You got to give them a little bit. But they're not going to be able to beat the Clippers. No. They're going to take them to 7, and they're going to get close, but Kawhi is still a god for a reason. And it's going to be the Lakers versus the Clippers. Oh, Andrew. Why would you pick the Clippers over the Lakers in 7? Because Clippers, Kawhi. It's just not all about Kawhi. They're going to start teaming up on Kawhi when he starts getting hot. And you know who else is on that team? Paul George. You know who Paul George has lost to every single time he's wanted to go to the championship? LeBron James. You know who has been shutting Paul George down every time he's tried to beat LeBron James every time he goes to the finals? LeBron James. Now guess who LeBron James is going to be covering when they play and the elite player starts getting really, really hot? Kawhi Leonard, not Paul George. Means Paul George gets to go off. That's the X factor. And then when LeBron goes on the other side and tries to cut down the really hot Paul George, it goes on the other side. Oh, Andrew, but they got Anthony Davis. Anthony Davis is a scorer, and he's really good at defense. But when it comes to playtime and push comes to shove, Paul George has got a monkey on his back. Maybe bad analogy for everything that's going on right now. He's got this animosity, I guess you would say, to LeBron James and losing to him every single time. So why do you really think that LeBron James can take 2 players that would equal maybe him and a half? I don't know about that, guys. I don't know about that. Clippers go to the finals against the Raptors. Now all of a sudden you got 2 teams with really good depth playing each other. I just think that Toronto's needs that elite scorer. And I think the fact that the Clippers have 2 is where it affects the Raptors. Kyle Lowry is good, Van Vliet is good, Siakam is good, and the rest of the company are great. But Kawhi and Paul George are just that much better. I got the Clippers taking it in 6. Come at me! Clippers in 6. As much as I should hold bias to my country, I hold no bias here, ladies and gentlemen. I only show you the stats. And that's it. It's right there. So tell me what you think. What do you think, ladies and gentlemen? Is that what you like? Is that what you think? Tell me what you think in the comments. Let me know. DM me. I don't give a fuck. Just tell me what you think, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Last thing we got for you here today. Quick little reminder that the giveaway this year is hot sauce. Let me open this up for you. What the fuck? Is it because my hands are so slippery? Yes. Heartbeat hot sauce, ladies and gentlemen. Yes, we have teamed up with Heartbeat Hot Sauce this year. It smells good. To have the giveaway. This is 1/3 of the giveaway this year. We've got pineapple habanero, red habanero, your jalapeno, my personal favorite, blueberry habanero, ladies and gentlemen. You want to win this? All you got to do is tag Heartbeat Hot Sauce in the comments below or share this video, and you will get an entry every time you do that. You want 2 entries, you do it twice. Not share the post twice, but you share and you tag Heartbeat Hot Sauce in the comments below. And that's one that you will be winning. I don't care if you're in New Zealand, ladies and gentlemen, I'll send it to you. I got care packages going to the States next week, okay? So, man, it's so much fun. I love talking to you guys, even though I haven't talked to anybody. Speaking of talking, let's see what we got in the comments before we get into here. All right. Let's go into here. The Tim Hortons comment. Mason Bradford, we got a new guy in here. Go Bolts. Hey, a lot of Tampa Bay fans in here. I like it. I like it. You guys can hold me accountable for everything I say too. This is the best part about this show. At the end of the show, I got a line that you guys are going to like, okay? Keith Larson says, you should funnel one of those bottles right now live. Well, then I just take away from the giveaway. Why would I want to do that? I got to get some more. They're actually exclusive to the, what do you call it? Thunder Bay. They're made in Thunder Bay, my hometown. One of my best friends, Dylan Ignace, he was helping to, create them back in the day. Still is. He's with those guys. He's actually on a couple of videos and a couple of pictures. All you single ladies, get out there too. He's a good man. But if you want some of that stuff, you can go obviously check out heartbeathotsauce.com. Or if you want to win it here, all you gotta do is like and share. But just share. Like Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Put them into the comment section below. Share this show, and you get an entry every time you do that. All right. To give you a nice quick perspective, we got NFL coming up here soon. I think it's 28 days. I cannot wait. Why? Because a lot of people are like, Andrew, Tom Brady doesn't have arm strength. That's right. Everybody thinks that. Everybody thinks that. Tom Brady is going to do to your team what a train would do to a milk jug. There's no stopping him. Not saying they're going to go 16-0. That's a little far-fetched. It could happen, though. But here's what I honestly think is going to go down. To give you a quick perspective, ladies and gentlemen, a quick breakdown of my 2.0 NFL season prediction. Before we do that, go to the Buccaneers prediction. I think the Buccaneers finish the season right now, and we'll have 3.0 coming up 2 episodes from now, and we'll go a little bit more in depth as this NFL season gets close. But as of right now, with the Buccaneers at 12-4. Losses coming week 1 to the Saints. What was that? Week 7 to the Raiders. Got them losing to the Rams. Week 11. And I got them losing to Atlanta on the 15th. Or week 15. That's the only losses I got them. I got them beating everybody else. Okay. I have got... What did I have for touchdowns? I got let's go to Tom Brady first. I got Tom Brady going 4,400 touchdowns. For 4,400 touchdowns. Wow, 4,400 yards. 4,460 to be exact. I got him at 34 touchdowns in the air. I got him 3 rushing touchdowns. Not saying he's going to run for 100 yards, but we've seen Tom Brady in the red zone sometimes just take it in himself. 12 interceptions, 4 for forced fumbles. Ooh, that seems like a lot. Not in this offense. When you compare it to the rest of the quarterbacks that have played in Bruce Arians' offense, this is nothing. We own the division. What did I have? Points per game are going to be 28.5. Last year was 28.6. Comes down 1 only because, you want to talk about arm strength. It's not necessarily about arm strength. It's just what Tom Brady is comfortable with doing. This system that we're building around him right now and allowing him to bring to the Buccaneers is something that he is comfortable with. You take the GOAT on your team, you got to give him a bone or two. All right? You don't just tell him this is my system and you do what I tell you, or he wouldn't have come to Tampa Bay. Pretty simple there. Now the defense, we talked about this last night. They were 28.1 points per game last year. Points allowed per game last year, 26.8. So I got them at a 1.3 point drop. And I talked about this last night. When you add Tom Brady to a team, when you add elite talent to a team, not only does it usually add a point to your offense, points per game, it usually takes a point per game away from your defense, especially when the defense is the same damn defense that you had last year. And you add that 0.3 being the difference when you are still the same defense and your corners are only going to get better. I got them targeted between 35 and 41 sacks, 12 to 15 picks. That's the big one. Down on sacks, up on the picks. All right? Touchdowns across the board. I got Evans with 7. I got Godwin with 6. Gronk with 6. Vaughn with 2 on the catching, 7 on the ground. I got Jones with 8 on the ground. Johnson with 3. Miller with a 5 and 1. Howard with 2. Brait with 3. And others sitting there with 2. Obviously, I made this before Shady McCoy and a couple other players got added onto this roster. But this is why this is 2.0 and 3.0 comes 2 episodes from now. But that's basically what we got, ladies and gentlemen. When they make it to the playoffs is where things get a little complicated. No. We play Arizona in the first round. 27-23 is what I got them winning at. Arizona is just a new team. They need that time to develop. They need to lose. Everybody knows that. Once you're a new team, if you go all the way to the finals and you win it kind of thing, it puts a damper on you going and doing that ever again. Go look at history. Tampa Bay would win that. They're going to go play New Orleans, probably win a close one, 38-35. Then you go on to play who I think is going to be the number 1 seeded team this year right now, in at least the NFC, Philadelphia Eagles. We beat them 20-13. Then we go on to the Super Bowl in Tampa against the Baltimore Ravens, 34-30. Like I said last night, Lamar Jackson is a player that is on a roll, and oh my God, this guy is going to try so hard to get to the Super Bowl, and he'll get there. But when you get to the Super Bowl, it's a way different game. Talk to the Buffalo Bills. It's not looking good. When you're playing the GOAT, it's a little intimidating, especially when that stadium that you're in is their stadium. If the Bucs go to the Super Bowl, it's a better opportunity for them because it's more than likely that the Super Bowl is going to have fans. So you tell me, you think the Ravens would honestly beat the Buccaneers team right now, both teams right now, no injuries, in the Super Bowl? Lamar would have a great couple of plays, but I don't think he would be able to do it consistently like Tom Brady would. To give you guys a couple other points from around the league, I got Casey. So let's go through the standings first. I got Casey finishing first. I've got, who did I have here? Sorry. Pittsburgh placing second. I've got Indianapolis placing third. Buffalo will be fourth. Denver fifth. Baltimore sixth. And Houston seventh. That's the way that I've got it broken down. In the NFC, I got Philadelphia, like I said, finishing first. I got Green Bay finishing second. I got Tampa finishing third. I have got Seattle finishing fourth. I got Arizona finishing fifth. Minnesota at number 6. And New Orleans squeaking in at number 7, beating out, I do believe, the Dallas Cowboys. Now, that being said, obviously you would have the Jaguars finishing last. The biggest thing, I won't give too much away on what I think for like MVPs and stuff like that because I'll wait till the 3.0. But the one thing that you can quote me on right now, there's 2 things that you can quote me on. 1, you ready for this? Jonathan Taylor wins Rookie of the Year, running back for the Colts. Quentin Nelson will be the asterisk to that MVP. Why? Because he is going to push everybody up for 20 yards, and then Jonathan Taylor will break for another 20. I think almost every time. That's a great system. Phillip Rivers needs a good O-line and a fucking running back. and he could possibly get over the hump. The Colts are the biggest dark horse in this whole situation of this upcoming year. And I will be held accountable for me saying that. If Phillip Rivers could actually do what Phillip Rivers is supposed to fucking do in his career, with the talent he's got on that team right now, he can do it. And it can be scary. Jonathan Taylor wins Rookie of the Year. The other thing, someone like Lincoln Riley, who did I have? Sorry. Lincoln Riley, Dabo Sweeney, or Dan Mullen. One of those three coaches from the college ranks will come up and coach a team. And will probably get Trevor Lawrence. Those are my two major guesses. Now, before we go, I like to do a little bit of fantasy football. And if you didn't know, North Sports has a fantasy football league already going up. We did a dynasty league because I'm not going anywhere. This is going to be around for years, ladies and gentlemen. I don't give a shit if one person watches and 3 people listen. That's 4 people that I influence. And I don't live life being like, I need to influence millions of people in order for me to go out there and put on a suit and this, that, and everything else. If I had 4 people in the comment section tell me that next time they want me to wear a suit or something like that, I'd fucking try. Because you are my fans and I do for you and I will continue to do for you what you please. Always. I'm not going to sell out. Now, that being said, if I ever got bought out by, say, Barstool or something like that, first of all, Bucs Report's coming with me whether they fucking like it or not. I do not forget the people behind me. And people need to figure that shit out too. Don't forget the people you start with. Don't forget the people that help you. And don't forget the people that get you to where you're supposed to go. Too many people keep forgetting that nowadays. That's why we have a lot of these issues going on, not only in society, but in sports. There's a lot of people that I work with that would agree with one thing for sure. You can be in the middle of some shit. But at the same time, too, when there's work to be done, there's work to be done. And that work that we all do, Bucs Report, the Sports Rep, North Sports, Heartbeat Hot Sauce, everybody that I'm associated with, we do it for the fans. We do it for you guys. I spent some money on this. Of course I spent some money on this. This board is not cheap. It looks a lot better than this one, though. But I did it for you guys. You guys call me big board, so I made my big boards bigger. You guys wanted me to stay raw and borderline. I said, fuck yeah, I'll stay raw and borderline. You guys asked for a promotion video. Promotion video's up on the page. Go give it a nice like and share. It's cringeworthy at points, I can give you that. But it's me doing shit that I've never done before. You the fans, and you the people out there, your entertainment, your smiles, and your days, making sure that they're all nice and entertained and informed, is what I do, and is what all these other platforms that I am with and associated with do for you. And it ain't ever going to change. I don't give a shit if I got bought out. Doesn't matter. Everybody's coming with me. And I don't give a shit if I got to bring 90 different sponsors, all who are like this big, to the big guys, and I got to bring 3 different platforms. I don't give a shit. You do not forget the people that brought you there. In sports, in life, in everything. So let's get to some fantasy football here before we wrap things up. So thank you guys for joining me today. We're back and it feels so good. It feels really good to be back with you guys. All right. Fantasy football, PPR league, full PPR, okay? I got my top 10 running back rankings. We're going to do this every show because I love fantasy football. I'll give you my rankings on running backs, wide receivers, quarterbacks, tight ends. We'll go through it all. We'll go through different mock drafts. We're going to be having a mock draft show, ladies and gentlemen. September 7th, September 8th. One of those 2 days. We're just finalizing the dates. I got 2 people, 2 major fans of the Bucs Report, or Bucs Report and of North Sports, coming to join me that day, and we're probably going to have 1 or 2 people from Bucs Report joining us that day via telecast. All right? We're going to be doing a mock draft. We're going to be making it funny. It's going to be like a comedic type of mock draft. And then after that mock draft is done, I'll be going live myself for North Sports to give you the rest of the info that you want to hear around the leagues. All right? That one, watch out for it. That's going to be a lot of fucking fun, ladies and gentlemen. All right. Mock draft time is coming up soon. So we got the mock draft top 10 running backs. Here we go. 1. Christian McCaffrey, ladies and gentlemen. If you do not... Actually, let's make this camera angle perfect. Okay. I can do this properly now. I need a cameraman if anybody wants to get paid in... Oh, God, I don't... cannabis? I can smoke you a joint every time if you want to be my cameraman. All you gotta do is, send your resume in. And if it's you smoking a joint, that's a pretty damn good resume. Alright, let's do this. Number 1 is Christian McCaffrey. If you're not sitting there at number 1 and you don't grab Christian McCaffrey, Saquon Barkley is a quick second. You can make the argument on that. But in this new system with Teddy Bridgewater, who I argue does not have the greatest arm, that's the reason why they got Teddy Bridgewater, in my opinion. Is because you have Christian McCaffrey there, and you can build that defense first and then build the offense, and then if Teddy Bridgewater isn't necessarily what you thought, that's why he's on a 3-year contract. Christian McCaffrey ain't fucking going nowhere, ladies and gentlemen. That guy's going to rack up the points for you in your fantasy because he's going to catch everything that Teddy Bridgewater cannot throw far enough anyway. And when I mean that in arm strength, and I mean that because of the talent that's out there. Curtis Samuel is really good, and Moore is really good, but they are just more speedsters, and if you can't throw that far, it doesn't really work. Number 2, Saquon Barkley. Daniel Jones is going to need another season, ladies and gentlemen, but he's going to get there. And when you have that type of a running back, man, you can do whatever the fuck you want, right? Saquon Barkley is going to be the next Ezekiel Elliott, where he's going to be around this mark for a long time. And he's not going to fall too far out of the top 5 or top 10 unless injuries barring. Saquon Barkley is going to be a good pick if you can get one of those top 2. Ezekiel Elliott this year is where you can keep him in that tier with Saquon Barkley and Christian McCaffrey. But I actually got him in the next tier down. I think there's only those 2 being like the all-stars. And then it goes to Ezekiel Elliott. Why? Because most of those targets that he was going to receive last year, even in the back end, like in the, Dak Prescott, he's not going to receive anymore. They got CeeDee Lamb, they got Blake Jarwin, you re-signed Amari Cooper, and you still got Cortland Sutton. Is it Cortland Sutton? I think it's Cortland Sutton. It's Cortland Sutton. Who's the other guy on Denver? Oh, man, I may have fucked that one up. It's Sutton, and there's someone else on there, too. But they got so many talented players now on Dallas that Dak Prescott is now going to be forced in McCarthy's system to try and hit those receivers. So Ezekiel Elliott's going to lose some of those touches and some of those catches, but it's not going to be a lot. He's still my number 3 overall. Number 4, it's Alvin Kamara. He had an injury last year after week 6, I think it was. This guy is going to be catching passes for Drew Brees because if you want to talk about noodle arm, they got 3 quarterbacks whose arms are not necessarily the greatest, and you heard me say it. Well, maybe one of their arms is pretty good, but, he just couldn't see for a long time. And the other guy's a white running back. So, Alvin Kamara is going to be catching a lot of these passes from Drew Brees in the back end again, and he's got time in the offseason to get healthy. I think he's going to get healthy. I think he's going to be a strong lean back. I think that's going to be the reason why the Saints can get to the postseason despite maybe this talk of Drew Brees going down or being taken out after a while and replaced with either Winston or Taysom Hill. So, number 5, Dalvin Cook. It was the holdout talks. I don't think anything is going to be happening there, ladies and gentlemen. It's Minnesota. The only real explosive talent that they have. Adam Thielen is good, but the explosive talent that they have on there is Dalvin Cook. Kirk Cousins is good, but explosive talent on there is Dalvin Cook. There's nothing else really out there. Everything else is really good to great, but when you need that extra bit of quickness or eliteness, that's the reason why you're going to need to make Dalvin Cook happy, because if he goes to that running back carousel of free agents next year, he's probably going to be the first one that gets picked off, and someone's going to overpay. Him or Derrick Henry. Number 6, Clyde Edwards-Helaire. Why? Because if you haven't looked at the fantasy aspect of things, he's going to be catching a lot of passes from Patrick Mahomes, first of all. He's the Kansas City now lead back because Damon Williams and another guy have opted out. So that means he's already scheduled to get at least another 100 carries or 100 touches. This offense is too good for you to pass up on the opportunity. If you're sitting there with the last pick of the first round and he is sitting there, along with some of these other running backs and wide receivers, you're going to probably start your season off as one of the better fantasy football teams. This guy right here is one of the biggest X factors this whole season because we all think he's going to be great, but we just don't know how great he is going to be. He could be a bust, but the talent around him, or let's say he won't be a bust. He'd be a bust for what we think and what he's capable of doing in the system, but he may only rush for like 1,000 yards and 3 touchdowns and catch 400 yards worth of catching for his first season. But it's the fantasy relevance that he's going to bring for Patrick Mahomes and the company around there. That's why he's up there so high. Same thing with Kenyon Drake at number 7, guys. He is going to Cliff Kingsbury's fucking offense. People need to put some respect on the name of the Arizona Cardinals right now. I have. They're going to more than likely take the Seattle Seahawks or the 49ers out of the playoff competition this year. And I can be held on the record. I've said it already, and I've went through the scheduling again, even giving the 49ers and the Seahawks a little bit more of the benefit of the doubt. And it's the Cardinals' schedule that really puts them and propels them really high. Yeah, they got work on the defense. Me and Peter go back and forth on Bucs Report about the whole Isaiah Simmons addition on that defense, but man, if you're thinking what I'm thinking, Isaiah Simmons on that defense with Chandler Jones and Patrick Peterson and the rest of the company is just what they needed to get over that hump. Now you got DeAndre Hopkins on the offensive side. Any 3 of those wide receivers, including Christian Kirk and Larry Fitzgerald, are covered. Kenyon Drake is built for this system, and he's going to be licking his chops. I would put him higher, but I got to see him put it out first, and he's only on a 1-year deal. Number 8, Derrick Henry. A lot of people are going to say that's a little bit too low. He doesn't catch it that much, and I don't think the Titans are going back to the playoffs this year. As of right now, I think that they're a really good team. I think they're going to be just like the Rams were and the Steelers were last year, where you have too many holes in a couple of major spots, and those need to be addressed first before you can get back. But it doesn't mean that Derrick Henry is not going to be a top 10 running back this year at all, because they're going to put it right back on the back of him again. Number 9, Miles Sanders. This guy can go your number 9 to number 19 this year. It's a weird one. He is the one guy in this whole top 10 that he can drop so easily, because Philadelphia has had a stable of running backs for a long time, and now they look like they're going to actually use this guy the most. And that's weird, especially with Carson Wentz there. But, I mean, that also being said, the opportunity that he's going to get is too good to pass up when you're looking at the production there. Miles Sanders is probably the biggest question mark in all this, but having him on your squad may be really, really great, or it may be a better suited for a flex position. Either or, if you're getting him at the back of the first round, you're more than likely going to end up with one of these other guys who can fill in if he doesn't do good. So it's still a good opportunity. Number 10, now this is the guy I think that should be in the top 5 and will be in the top 5 at the end of the year, and that's Josh Jacobs out of the Raiders of Las Vegas. He didn't catch it that much last year. John Gruden addressed that so many times in the offseason. Josh Jacobs has addressed it so many times in the offseason. I think they're putting a point out there. And if Mariota is getting the praise like we're hearing, Mariota likes to drop it back to those running backs as well. We've seen that before. So watch out. Josh Jacobs gets into the top 10 running backs for sure, only because of the production that I think he is going to do in the system with Mariota in Vegas under Gruden. It's going to be beautiful. for him. And that Edwards dude. That Edwards guy might take a few touches carrying away from Josh Jacobs, but the catching, I think he's going to get 50 to 75 more targets this year, and they're going to get probably another 450 to 650, 700 yards out of him on that side, and that's going to be the reason why he gets into the top 10. To fill out the rest quick, we got Joe Mixon from the Bengals. There's a lot of wide receivers. Joe Burrow is there. It's going to take a little bit of time, and we know that he takes a little bit of time to get going in games. So bear with him on that, but I still think he's going to be good relevance to your team. Nick Chubb there at number 12, for the Cleveland Browns. New system, new coach. They do like using the running back, but they like using running backs. So Kareem Hunt is going to be another guy that gets a lot of touches, but he's still going to be fantasy relevant. Austin Eckler, 13. He's the lead back in LA for the Chargers. When you got Tyrod Taylor and a new quarterback, if they start bringing in the new quarterback, they usually start giving it to the running backs a little bit more just to take more off of his plate. So look for him to get more touches. Aaron Jones goes low here, and a lot of people are going to give me shit for that one. Why? The reason is it's because they drafted A.J. Dillon, and they're looking to kind of kick out the old squad in Green Bay. So with that, you got to start giving other touches to the young guys. So his relevance for fantasy is still there, but I think because the touches are going to come down, he starts following a little bit. And lastly, you got Melvin Gordon. A lot of people got him more in the 20s. I have high hopes for Denver. I would say more on side that Arizona makes it for what we say is going to happen this year, and it's more of a chance that Denver will. But if Denver can make it all work this year, guys, oh my God. Lastly, adding in some of the rookies, I got Jonathan Taylor sitting at number 22. I think he'll get up there a lot higher as the year goes on. Cam Akers at 30 and J.K. Dobbins. You guys just don't want to forget about these running backs. They're rookies, yes. And if you're talking about PPR, they could be of relevance to you later on in the season. Dynasty is where you want to get these guys a little bit higher, but everybody should know that as well. And ladies and gentlemen, that has been Heartbeat Hot Sauce's basic fantasy football rankings, North Sports Fantasy Football Heartbeat Hot Sauce. Everybody sponsors it, but they're not a sponsor. So, tell me what you think. Is there any of those running backs that I didn't add to the top 10 or top 15 that you actually think are going to be more of a fantasy relevance? Do you think that one of these guys should be a little bit higher? What do you want to see next? Do you want to see the wide receivers? Do you want to see the quarterbacks? Do you want to see the tight ends? Do you want to see the flex positions? What do you want to see? You let me know in the comment section. DM me, Twitter, wherever you guys are, wherever you follow me. That's where you can tell me. And I just want to hear from you. Tell me what you think. So let's go and add this a little bit more forward here. And let's end the show. Because that has been it, ladies and gentlemen. And my God, let's go to the comments here. Let's see what we got here. All right. Train versus Milk Jug. Woo! I almost lost that shit. I don't know why I sad-faced it. Train versus Milk Jug. You won't drink a bottle of syrup live. Oh. That's a hard one, guys. You want me to drink like pure maple syrup? Oh, man. Wear a suit next episode. You won't. I guess I'm going to have to start doing this shit. Of course, it's Josh, syrup chug, chug, chug. You know I'm here. I don't think the Titans go back to the playoffs either. I'm glad somebody thinks that as well. I've got a lot of people that have been hating on me for that one, and I'm like, hey, Tannehill's good. I'm not saying they overpaid. I say they paid him well. They paid the players pretty well. It's going to do some damage in 2 years maybe to them when they're trying to add a couple pieces to get back there. But the Titans are really good for a couple of years from now. They may be one of the better teams to have to be playing with. So I think they're going to have a playoff hangover as well. So ladies and gentlemen, that's it. That's the show. We're back. It's awesome. I can't wait. Tell me what you think. I want to get more feedback from you guys. The fans is what keeps this going. A lot of people were waiting for this stuff. I was on Bucs Report last night. One of the first comments I saw on YouTube, bring on Big Board. It feels good to be wanted, ladies and gentlemen. I want to be wanted by you so I can give you what I want to give you. And that's my Big Board. And that's some borderline fucking content. Because it's new age, ladies and gentlemen. It's a new age out there. I want everybody to swear. I want everybody to be able to say what they want. They do it on the field. And I understand that there's kids, and I understand that there's religion, and I understand there's all that stuff out there. But we need this platform here soon, ladies and gentlemen. And I'ma fucking get us there. And I ain't gonna quit. Because as you saw from my promotion video, I could do all sports. By the way, next video comes out in the next couple of weeks. That video is gonna be what I was doing when there was no sports. Just nothing. So it'll be kind of funny. I'll also have a video of, I guess you would say like a spoof promotion video of all my missed shots. Oh my God, when I was playing basketball, that is going to be one of the funniest parts of the spoof video because there's just way too many misses. I tried for like a good 15 minutes to hit a 3 and realized that I need to practice some more. Ladies and gentlemen, that's it. Follow me on Twitter at Andrew_Faubert. Look for the North Sports logo and you'll know it's me. I don't got no blue star on me or anything like that. Follow me on Facebook at North Sports. This whole content right here will be made available for you audioly tonight or tomorrow. All you got to do is go to Spotify. Search up Foobs, Foobz or Z, and look for the North Sports logo. And all of them will be there. You can download them. You can share them. Play them whenever you want. Look for me on YouTube. North Sports is there. You can watch these shows anytime. Same with the Facebook page. As you guys know, one more time, shout out Heartbeat Hot Sauce for being part of the giveaway this year. We have got 4 flavors for you this year, ladies and gentlemen. Pineapple habanero, normal red habanero, jalapeno, and my personal favorite, the blueberry habanero. And I will be sending this to one lucky winner at the end of the season or mid-season, wherever you are. How do you enter? Put Heartbeat Hot Sauce into the comment section below or share this video. Every time you do one of those, you get 1 entry into the draw. And I will put your name in there, and I will keep a bucket around this time. And I'll write your names live, put them in there so everybody knows. So thank you everybody again. This has been North Sports. I am your host. Thanks for tuning in. And as always, don't forget to follow, share, and like North Sports for all of your north of the border sports talk, debates, and entertainment. Remember, I'm not wrong. I'm just opinionated. So if you want to join the debate, bring an open mind, because I may just fill it with something you've never thought of before. Thank you everybody again. I will see you next week where we will be having a special guest. I will let you know who that is soon. We're making it work here, ladies and gentlemen, at North Sports. Follow Bucs Report. That's where I also contribute. Those guys have been amazing to me. Those guys will be amazing to you if you want your Buccaneers news. You want some laughs. You want everything. Join the Sports Web, ladies and gentlemen. That's where you'll get a lot more content than what I can give you here from everywhere the United States can give you. Thank you again, ladies and gentlemen. I will see you next week. Much love from north of the border, and we'll see you soon.